and welcome to Mass Insight's 2021 Partners in Excellence event. I'm Sue Lucy, President and CEO of Mass Insight. This year, because of our virtual environment, we are holding Partners in Excellence over 4 evenings. This is the third, focusing on English. It has been my privilege to open these events for the past 6 years, and it is always my favorite. Extraordinary learning results from extraordinary teachers, and we are honoring 5 of them this evening. Thank you to our amazing winners for helping their students succeed this year under extremely challenging circumstances. We look forward to hearing from each of you in just a few minutes. Thank you to our leadership sponsors, K&L Gates and State Street Corporation, and a very special thank you to our Managing Director of the Advanced Placement STEM and English program, Sally Guadagno, and all those who made this event possible. And now, a few words from our board chair, Dick Taggart.
Thank you, Sue. On behalf of my colleagues on Mass Insight's Board of Directors, I want to welcome you to our virtual Partners in Excellence Awards presentation. I am sorry we can't be together in person again this year. Our annual Partners in Excellence Awards program is always a very special night of celebration for teachers, friends, and supporters of Mass Insight. What makes Partners in Excellence so special? It is one of the few events around that recognizes and celebrates excellence in advanced placement teaching. The Mass Insight Board is proud to be able to support tonight's program. The work of the AP English teachers we are honored tonight culminates in measurably better, more equitable outcomes for students. More students, especially students of color and low-income students, are succeeding in high school and college because of the extraordinary work you and your colleagues do every day. You've had to respond to unprecedented conditions since March 2020, when the world was brought to a sudden halt because of COVID-19. Within a week, the global health crisis transformed how students are taught, how we support students, and how we prepare them for AP exams and college. I want to thank you for helping your students overcome the challenges and barriers brought on by the sudden and unexpected shift to virtual learning at home. You provided the stability, support, and encouragement to help them overcome their fears and worries about succeeding in very challenging AP courses. As a result, you're helping to close the equity gap in AP education. Thank you. It is now my pleasure to introduce Sally Guadagno, Managing Director of Advanced Academics, for our Partners in Excellence Awards presentation.
Thank you, Dick. It is now my pleasure to introduce the 2021 Partners in Excellence English Award recipients. Kalima Rahim, AP Language, New Mission High School. Marissa Cody, AP Language, Millbury Junior Senior High School. Gail Holland, AP Literature, Worcester Technical High School. Jen Blackburn, AP Literature and Language, Granby Junior Senior High School, and John Wilson, AP Language, Wareham High School. On behalf of all of us from Mass Insight, I want to congratulate you on this success. The goal of Mass Insight, as you all know, is to increase participation and performance in advanced placement courses to prepare students for college and career success in the STEM and English fields. Each year, we award exemplary teachers who help us meet these goals in their classrooms through our Partners in Excellence. We're delighted to honor your professionalism, your perseverance, your commitment to your students above all every year, but especially this year, when all of us were forced, in a sense, to respond to the challenges posed by the pandemic in new and creative ways. Congratulations again on these achievements, not only to you, but to your students who show up every day and are working through the challenges along with you. Now, we'd love to hear from you and your thoughts and about what inspires you and how have you brought that inspiration into your classroom. And if you could speak to all of you students, past, present, and future, what hopes do you have for them?
Thank you, Sally. It is a pleasure to be here. And it's been wonderful working with Mass Insight. So I thank you again for this tremendous honor. In thinking about the question, I was taken back to memories of my own high school education. There was no wraparound concept or teach the whole child approach. and I am successful in spite of, not due to my high school experience. In teacher vernacular, the resilience and the intellectual curiosity instilled in me by my mother have been my saving grace. I often wonder where I would be if I had a nurturing high school community. That said, I only remember Mr. Pepe because of how he made me feel and his concern for my well-being, inadequate and inconsequential. Knowing that what you as a teacher can do for and to a student in that transitional period, that leap into the world when you complete high school, keeps me hypersensitive to the concerns of those I have the opportunity to teach today. As Toni Morrison said in her Pulitzer Prize acceptance speech, it's in your hands. The inspiration as far as my classroom, I started teaching with a bachelor's degree in art, not education. And I was hired to be an inclusion teacher, not knowing what the term really meant. So I took it literally and I was like, I can help. So the first week of school, I was told that I would be a reading teacher instead. And again, in my mind, I said, everyone can read, so I'm more than capable of doing the job. And it was while teaching Zora Neale Hurston's Their Eyes Are Watching God that I learned that misreading begets poor readers, poor writers, high school dropouts, and the continuation of the cycle of poverty. And that was unacceptable. So I went back to school and got a master's in education. And that's where I gained the foundational knowledge in the capital R reading. Afterwards, I realized that the foundational knowledge of the capital R reading needed to be supported by an English degree. And it was there that I learned the term close reading, and it has forever changed the approach to my teaching. And HOW, an author pulls a reader into the text. My passion for examining language was fostered by Toni Morrison's masterful crafting of English language and the love of a good story, William Faulkner's book, Absalom, and 15 minutes that Professor Dittmar spent with me to teach me how observation works, HOW, to read. And lastly, the refinement of my skills, as Maya Angelou puts it, finishing school. Mass Insight has left an indelible imprint, and I am forever grateful for the opportunity to participate in their professional development offerings. They have year after year provided the best professional development in the city of Boston and offer teachers across content, math, science, history, and English, and more, all that they could possibly utilize in helping the lives of others. Mass Insight empowers teachers to grow as experts in their content area, and from my point of view, is a leader in the movement for educational equity. And I'm proud of what we've done together. And for my past and present and future students, my hopes for them is that they will do good in the world through living, learning, traveling, teaching, and touching the lives of others. Stay positive, stay motivated, and stay safe.
I think first of all, I want to thank you for this award and really for the ongoing support of Mass Insight, not just now and during the pandemic, but for the last several years. The professional development that you've provided has really helped me grow as a teacher and really has been some of the best professional development I've experienced in 25 years of teaching. So I thank you for that. Thinking about what inspires me and what I brought, or how I brought that into the classroom, I think what inspires me the most is seeing students gain confidence and satisfaction from being able to do things that are difficult. And one of the ways that I bring that into the classroom is through encouraging sort of a mindset of patience and perseverance. It's important to learn that progress is not necessarily a straight line or an upward trajectory. There's going to be dips and declines and bumps in the road, but all of that is part of the process. And we need to learn to be okay with what progress actually looks like in the real world. And that's not just an AP skill, it's a life skill, and it's something that I hope students can take with them into every classroom and into every experience. Keep trying, don't give up, get joy out of the things that, the successes that you are achieving, and don't be put off by the dips and the bumps in the road. It was tough to think about. If I could speak to all of my students, past, present, and future, what hopes do I have for them? I guess the overarching hope you have for anybody is to want them to be happy. I think my students, they're so smart, and yet they're so worried about making the wrong decision, not acing the exam, not getting into the right college. And I think you can tell them this now, but with age comes experience and perspective. And I want them to realize that there are infinite possibilities and there's infinite paths, and you're going to find those things in your own time, and in your own way. Trust that you are smart and you are capable enough to sort of weather the storms that are a part of your life. Understand that the day after a victory and the day after a defeat look pretty much the same, right? You're going to wake up in the morning, maybe have a little breakfast, say hi to your family, walk the dog. You get up and you build again when things don't turn out right. And just know that there's no one definition of what right looks like. So I guess that would be it. To take some of the lessons, hopefully, that you have learned about writing and about literature and the great lessons from the great writers, and know that there are multiple answers and that you will be able to find them.
Thank you, Sally. And thank you to Mass Insight for this amazing award that I didn't even know existed. So that's amazing. So what inspires me, I would say, first of all, is my students. This is my 22nd year teaching, and I've just learned so much throughout the years, especially from my students. And I've adjusted teaching to represent that. I wanted to be an English teacher since my junior year of high school, actually. In senior year, I took AP Literature with my favorite teacher of all time, Mr. Kirk. And he wasn't like all the other teachers, and he basically taught his students to step outside of the box and search for the deeper meaning, both in literature and in life. So I'm very inspired by him as well, who he has now since passed away. In 2013, I met with my principal at the time to try to convince her that we should bring AP Lang to our school. We only had AP Lit at the time, so I learned about AP Lang, and I thought this would be perfect for me to teach. That was actually the same year I was battling breast cancer. So I had to take the AP training course in the middle of chemo. A lot of my friends and family thought it was crazy to do. They're like, just do it later, do it another time. But I knew that I really wanted to take this course, and I really wanted to teach AP Lang, and I was highly motivated to do so. I also thought that taking this course would prepare me in the best way possible to teach it, and I was right. So this experience helped me to see the value of perseverance, and although it wasn't easy, especially in the beginning, I finally feel like I've made this class my own. Sally actually has helped me out with this, because when I was in maybe my third year teaching AP Lang, I met with Sally, and I was really disappointed about my scores. But she kind of explained to me that it takes maybe 5 years to make the course your own. And so I kind of kept that with me, and I kept going and, done better every year. So thanks to Sally. The other thing I hope is that I have a positive impact on my students' lives, that they learn to love writing, and that they can appreciate the versatility of AP Lang for any future that they pursue. If I could speak to my students, past, present, and future, I just hope that they're successful and able to do something that they love, just like I'm able to do. I also hope they're not afraid to fail, because you can always come back from that and learn something. I hope they continue to cultivate a love of learning. They keep growing intellectually, and most importantly, I hope that they will be kind to each other, do kindness in the world. Finally, I hope that I've taught them the value of perseverance.
Thanks, Sally, and thanks to Mass Insight for this great opportunity, for all the fabulous workshops you put on over the years, and really for this great honor. And I feel honored. Very happy about this. What inspires me? I'm one of those people, everything inspires me. I wake up every day and it all just seems so great. Art, music. I'm looking out my window at this beautiful snow, the trees, the people who make and do things. I'm in love with the city of Worcester and all the people in it. It's all just so great. And I feel like I bring that into my class by letting my students discover, or giving them the space to discover what it is that inspires them. We have a lot of choices. They can write about things they choose. Literature is a great doorway onto that we get to read so many different authors. I don't know. I don't even know what to say. And I guess maybe my advice to students past and present was like to continue to live that big open-hearted life, and to find that wonder if you can in every day. Do something every day that maybe scares you a little bit, that pushes you to that next level. And of course, read 12 books a year, go down to the library and keep on reading. It opens your world, and I think they already know that. I think by the end of the year, they're in, they've bought it, and I hope they can continue on this journey that we started together. And thanks very much.
I think we live in a kind of a provincial world sometimes. I've been teaching online courses since the mid-90s for a very, very long time. And I don't think the online classroom will ever replace the conventional classroom, but one of the things the online classroom can do, my students work with other students from all over the world. I right now teach an online class, and I have a student in India. I have a student in South America, I think. I've had students in Korea and China. I have a student right now who's in China. But the thing is that students, through discussions and the like, are able to meet with students from all over the world. And it takes us out of our provincial little home. And I think that's important to the extent that you can do it. And reading can do that to a certain extent. And it develops the imagination, which I think is important. And I also think, art and beauty are used for other things. I have some commercials I do with my AP class because I want them to see how advertisers use different things to sell things. And I have a Volvo ad that has like an actor, like he's reading this poem, The Open Road by Walt Whitman, as the car is going down the road. There's another Volvo ad that has an aria from Mozart's Magic Flute playing in the background. I have another one from VW, which has the opening lines to Dylan Thomas's Under Milkwood while a VW is going through the town at night. Now, why are they putting those things in there to sell cars? But I think they're making assumptions about their audience, and they're making assumptions about how the beauty of language can shape things, and the beauty of music. What is it that I want kids to see afterwards? It is my hope that they come to live richly, fully, and deeply. But I also hope they understand that the purpose, they're not in school just so that they can go to college. They're not in college just to go to college. We were given a mind, and developing the mind is important, but it also, the more we know how to look at the world, to think and to experience and the like, we're less likely to be tricked. And for that, it goes beyond just, college. The goal of education is to prepare students for more education, perhaps, but at the end of the day, they need the tools to live and understand the world.
All lots of really great comments for us to think about and to inspire those who are watching. So I hope some of your students tune in to celebrate you as well. So congratulations to you, to your colleagues who support you, and of course to your students who make all the difference. I'm going to turn this back over to Sue Lucy for our closing remarks.
Congratulations to all of tonight's winners. Thank you again for all you do on behalf of your students. A special thank you to all of our Partners in Excellence sponsors, without whom this would not be possible. Make sure you join us again on March 25th for our culminating night, where we will have our keynote interview with Kimberly Ellison Taylor of Oracle, who will share her inspiring story and message of improbable doesn't mean impossible. We will also present 4 special awards to members of our community who are helping to make a difference for students, teachers, and schools. Thank you and have a wonderful evening.